Okay guys and girls, welcome back to a new video. Yeah. And this is probably some of you guys' first time seeing my face. So this is what I look like most of the time. Have kind of spiky hair and yeah. This is also the place where I do most of my voiceovers because the barn is rarely used by multiple people at a time. That's also why it's really cold because there's no heating, so I'm sitting in my winter jacket. Yeah. I have kind of a hangover, so yeah. But this video is about, as you have seen in the thumbnail, Amsterdam Expert paint. And I bought a few colors. I have Titan Buff, Deep, Deep, the first. Kind of a beige color, which I need, of course. And I have Ultramarina Blue, because I would like that. And as you probably could have guessed if you know how I paint, Cadmium Red, Deep Hue, and the last one, Extra Fine Ivory Black. And these colors are really cool. I haven't tried them yet, but I'm going to try them. Maybe not after this exactly, I don't really know, but I'm going to try them at some point. But this is going to be kind of a review, and this is just a kind of an intro thing. And the reason why I bought these was very simple. I wanted to try them. I've been wanting to try them for some time now. But also, since I normally use golden paint, which I think is a great paint, don't get me wrong, it's just simply too expensive. And I don't have that kind of money. I very rarely sell my paintings, so if I can get close to the same quality of color and use out of this, I'm gonna be switching to this. But this will also be like my first impressions and a review of what I think of them. And I think the best way of doing that is by making a painting with them. I think that's the best way of doing it. And I have kind of stuff planned for that. So yeah, hope you enjoy, and please like, subscribe, and comment and all that stuff, because I really appreciate it when you guys do that. Yeah. Now that long intro is over, we begin the painting. Yay! Or maybe you guys aren't as excited as I am, but at this point, when I started this painting, like the clip you're watching right now, I hadn't painted in like a week, and that may not sound like a long time, but I was just waiting on this order because they had a lot of orders to fulfill. So mine it took longer than expected, so I had to wait a little bit longer, but I'm happy that I did because I got to paint. And like, before spoiling everything, because I don't really know what the thumbnail is gonna be, but I like this painting actually. Turned out pretty good. Just tried something a little bit different, but still very much me. As you can see, this is another thrift store canvas, because that's where I get nearly all my canvases or things I paint on, because it's cheap. You know, also just good reason to switch paint if it's cheaper, because if it's nearly the same quality, like, why not buy the cheaper stuff? Yeah. Simply, I started out with the white as a sketch, and this white color is from Golden, but I think, you know, you guys can live with that. I'm not using all the materials because I'm using everything that I have. Because I don't want to waste anything necessarily, but I also, like, yeah. I think it's alright that I'm using golden color, because it's really just paint, and it's about using what I have, not only using one type of material or only using one brand. It's not about that. But if I know a brand has quality, I will use it. But if the price gets too high, like Golden has become, I won't use it. So that's why. Yeah, it's very simple, and try doing some very like basic stuff. I think for me this is basic. I don't know if you guys, like, maybe this is some people's first time watching me, and thank you for being here if you're still here. Even after seeing my very pretty face or whatever in the intro or whatever you want to call it. And I started out with some blue here, and it's very hard to see because the blue is really dark, and it's even darker when it dries. So it looked pretty good here, but when it had dried, it becomes much darker, which I kind of don't like, but again, this is the raw color, and later I end up putting white in it and mixing it a little bit lighter, and then it's still great. So it holds its pigment very well, but it maybe could just be a little bit lighter, but of course I can always just mix it lighter. So that's not a problem. And I think the coverage is pretty good. It's hard to see with two dark colors because they kind of mix together, kind of in your eyes, if you know what I mean. Because of course you can see the difference from blue and black, but trust me, it's much harder in real life. And yeah, I spent a lot of time on that actually because I wanted this to be kind of a shirt. And if you don't know, Denmark, we have kind of a, it's not, I don't know if it's the biggest brand, but we have like a kind of known brand called Mads Nørgaard. And it's a pretty decent brand. I like some of the stuff, not all of the stuff. I think it's a little bit overhyped, as most Danish name brands, because they're kind of overpriced, most of them, for how they're and where they're made. But enough of that. They have a very iconic striped shirt. Just the striped shirt in general is kind of iconic to them, which I think is pretty cool because, yeah, I just like it. I see it in real life and I get inspired by it. So I wanted to give this guy kind of my own spin on it, and I saw one which was blue, kind of a little darker, lighter blue color with red stripes, which looked pretty cool. I don't think it would fit me, like it would be good on me, I don't think so, but I think it would be nice on one of my characters, since I can give them nothing on or whatever I want on, which is also pretty cool. I think that I have like complete control over what they wear in a sense. Yeah. I don't know, this is kind of a review, but also just a normal video. Hope you guys can live with that I call this a review, but yeah, just generally I think the paint is good. Not gonna lie, the paint is pretty good. It's almost the same as golden, not gonna lie. I can't see much difference. Of course, there's slight difference in the colors, but that's because I bought different colors when I had more golden paint. So, like, it makes sense. But it's very similar, and it's gonna work, and I'm gonna keep using them, if I'm being honest. Like, I'll keep using it both because it's cheaper and because it's nearly the same quality. Like, everything that people have said have been right, which is very nice because, you know, on the internet you can't never really trust anybody. Like, there's a lot of people who are sponsored by someone to just be a little bit nicer, or they just say stuff because other people say the same, so like it fits the narrative or whatever. But I'm gonna be completely honest here, I'm not sponsored or anything, but I think it's great and I'm gonna keep using it until I find something better, which I probably won't for a while, but you never know. Just more stuff to come, I promise. Just got a new canvas in from a thrift store, found another one which is 86 by 86 or 85 by 85, something like that, which is also a pretty decent size. For once, got it for cheap. There's half off everything. So I got some other things to resell. I've been buying stuff for that again, of course. Hopefully I will sell stuff soon, because right now I'm in a minus. I'm kind of down, but of course I will get back up, and when I get back up, the stuff will pay more. So of course I need to get better at, you know, only using money I have instead of using money I don't have. That would be smarter. But since I have another job and I get paid for that, and this is also like, I'm like 100 kroner down, which is like, that's not a lot of money. I can live with that, and I'm probably gonna make it back. Probably, hopefully. Like, you can't be sure when you're doing stuff like this, stuff like that, like reselling, and generally having a business or anything with having a product you need to sell. You can't be sure that it will sell or it will work. You can hope that people like it, but like generally, it's you can't be sure. Can't be sure. And here I just, yeah, as you can see, I did some white because the hair was white on the black background. But for me, that still looks like the sketch, and it could work in like a different way. But I just think, why not just? I can do whatever I want, so why not just paint it white? The background, kind of grayish, muddy white, which I really like, and started on some red outline of the body here, the shirt, because, as I said before, the blue was really close to the black, so you could barely see a difference, which I don't like. I don't want everything to be clear, but I want it to be, most of the stuff to be kind of clear. That's just how I like my art. Of course, some people like an art style where it's more like, oh, this could be something, or you have to kind of really squint to see the difference in things, kind of muddy-ish, and that's fair to them. They can do whatever they want. Personally, I would just not do that. I don't like that. I want my stuff to be legible and cool, but again, that can change because like I'm always evolving and changing style and just getting better, doing more weird and wild stuff. Just, things will change at some point, I know, but for right now, that's what I like. And I think this turned out pretty good actually, despite the canvas also having an immense amount of texture. I know I'm going to talk about this in the last clip, like where I'm explaining the finished piece, but I promise you guys, the amount of texture on this canvas is insane. And I don't know why anybody would paint like this, because the original is so bad. And there was two of them. And luckily they were cheap, because if they weren't the size they were, and if they weren't so cheap, I wouldn't have bought them, because this amount of texture makes it very difficult to paint on and get the stuff you want. It really makes it hard. So I had to kind of struggle around it a little bit to get something I could use. But it turned out pretty fine, I think. But you can really see it in real life. Like you don't even have to get up so close to see, like, some parts are like bumped up. It's almost like my painting got acne or something. Like it's just kind of raised bumps. Not everywhere, but some places. And some places it's really much. Like it must be like, oh, that's too much. I wouldn't even do so much texture unless I'm doing texture over everything. But I got kind of away from it because it looked fine, not that, but it just made other things somewhat much difficult. Like, yeah, I'm just doing my cool paintings, or at least what I think is cool. Also, a thing I really love about painting is that, especially with acrylics, it dries very fast. So I can paint over stuff very fast if I change my mind. Or just I can paint on stuff, like, my god, I can't with oils. It's just, that's not for me. I think the colors are better, which is really sad that it works out like that. But generally, I think that having to wait like a week for stuff to dry completely, or at least dry enough so you can paint over it, I don't think that's good. I don't like that. And especially when acrylic paint has gotten so good that it will also like be archivable for like ever or whatever. Like it's fine. Like use acrylic if you want, and you can also not use it if you don't want. Like I don't care really. You can do whatever you want to, and I think you should do that. Don't listen to anybody being like art snobs that you only have to use this type of brush or this type of canvas. Like, oh, this is so much better. Don't do that. Use whatever you want to use. But be aware there's a reason why people are talking about a product, either because it's very bad for the price or it's very good. And of course, some of the older and more well-known established brands, which are usually more expensive, there's also a good reason. Like in art, I think the more expensive stuff is typically more well-made, which is very weird for the type of like modern world we live in, where a bunch of stuff is just more expensive because. But that's also one of the good things about art, I think, because you can do whatever you want. Yeah. A little bit about my life, what's going on in my life. Not that much. I went to work yesterday, even though I didn't think I had to go to work. But some guy got sick, like one of my colleagues got sick, so I took his shift, and it turned out good. So that's more money for me. And one weird thing I realized yesterday, I got like my payment. I didn't get my money yet. My salary, my money, but I got like the invoice with the the numbers and stuff, how much I've actually earned. And I have enough money to buy a camera, but I also have enough money to get my savings up and going again a little bit better if I just put half of it and still have plenty of money for myself. So I'm kind of debating if I should use like 80% of it to buy a new camera, which I'm definitely going to use, don't get me wrong, or if I should split it in half, put half towards my savings and keep half for myself and kind of save that up, and then next month and so on, because I realize in some ways I need a camera, and some ways I really don't. Like, it's not necessary, I think, and it isn't going to make anything better. It is going to make stuff better, but it's going to make trivial stuff better, like video quality and stuff like that. And all my own problems with it is just my own excuses, I think, if I'm going to be honest. Like, it's kind of a nice to have, not a need to have. And I should save up as much money as possible, really, when it's like possible to make it. Because I have, like, life costs money. And that's a huge part of it. Like, stuff costs money, and I'm going to need money later. And I think it's smart to save up, especially when it's going to be like 80% of my paycheck if I use it now. So I think I'll be smart this time. But maybe in the future, and especially if I begin making any kind of money with this, I can justify it, because if I'm going to use this camera for mostly YouTube, which is free, I might as well use my phone, if I'm going to be completely honest. There's very little reason to use use a professional, or not professional, but just a more professional camera when my phone is fine. Like, it's not really necessary, I think. I don't think it's necessary. And here I'm doing the eyes like this, but as you no, you probably wouldn't have seen it, but they're gonna change. There's a little bit of a spoiler. Also because I can't really change, like, I can't decide on what eyes I want sometimes. Like, that's one of the hardest things, because I want to have a certain look, and some of them has to have a different look or anything like that. So it's hard. Okay, guys and girls, you made it to the very end of the video. Okay, that sounds really fake. But yeah, you made it to the end of the painting, of the video, of course. I haven't put anything in my hair, because I'm probably not going to. And yeah, I did this painting. It's done. I've done some stuff you haven't seen, and that's because, if you know me, I sometimes suck at recording, so I kind of forget, because I just want to paint like right in the moment I want to. But I can explain what I've done, and I've changed the eyes a bit, made them more human-like, and gave them some huge lasers, because why not? Like, I can do whatever I want. Thought it looked cool. Did a little bit of beige here and a little more red here, and I changed the blue from a darker blue, which is like nearly black. There's a piece of blue here. You can see it when you're up close, but it's really hard to tell the difference, especially on camera, since my phone is very bad. But yeah, I changed it to a lighter blue, but not too light, so I still think it gives like the striped shirt vibe. Yeah, and the white here, I made that great. And I kept this like red bar of oil paint, which is like there from the start. I kept that, just did it over a bit and under and stuff like that. So I kept most of the stuff I kept all the stuff I wanted to. I made some cool new stuff despite the canvas being so like textured. Like, I don't know if you can hear this. Like that. It's a lot of texture, and that means it's very hard to paint on. Especially here, like, just making the eyes was very hard hard and difficult, and it gives a cool texture when it's done, but you have very limited control, I would say, compared to, you know, if you have the ability to not have texture. Of course, some texture is all right, but most of it is like huge parts of blobs and stuff like that, so it's not that clean. It's like somebody has like fought, you know. Actually, I have the other one here, just like, I don't know, it's the same way, so hopefully you can see it. Yeah, but you can see it's a lot of texture. I hope you can see all of it. I don't know, but yeah, it's a lot of texture for, I don't know why. Personally, I am not a fan, and I tried sanding it down, but that really doesn't work, so I'm kind of contemplating just painting on the back of it, but that would also be pretty weird, but it could also be cool. I don't know though, because the front is kind of messed up for a canvas in general. But yeah, so the challenges were there, but I still think it turned out pretty good. Is this my best piece? Maybe not. Maybe. I don't know. That depends on whoever made it. But I got the canvas for very cheap. And I got the paint for very cheap. And the paint is, of course, what this video was about. And I've definitely talked about it throughout the voiceover. I know myself. But yeah, I have something to say about all of it. And generally with the Amsterdam Expert series acrylics, I'm pleased. I like them a lot. I'm gonna keep using them because, like, the only color that isn't Amsterdam on this is this thing and the white. And the white is gonna be like the white, I think, because the blue has been great, the red has been great, the Titan buff has been great. So yeah, the black has been great. It has all been great because it is great, and it's very cheap for what you get. Like, you definitely get your money's worth. I even think you get more than your money's worth. Like, if that makes sense, because it's great. It's really good. I would recommend it. I'm not sponsored in any way. I wish they would sponsor me, but I don't think they're gonna do that since I'm not that big of a channel. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's great. It's great paint, and I'm gonna keep using it. Yeah. I like this painting a lot. I tried using all the colors, and I definitely did. Like, I'm glad I used the blue, actually, because giving them a shirt or something also makes them more human and also a little bit less human, kind of, if it makes sense. Like, it's a little bit weird, but I like it. It just gives an extra thing, especially to this canvas, where I was kind of struggling a bit with the texture on it. I really don't think I'm going to do the next one on the... I'm probably going to do the next one of them on the back. I also got another new canvas from a thrift store for cheap, so I just been stocking up on cool things to make. Yeah. But you just... So that's the finished piece. That's the thing I've made. And yeah. I don't know what more to say. So thank you for watching, and please like, subscribe, and comment, and all that stuff, because I really appreciate every time you do. And when you do, it gives me more motivation to keep doing this stuff and just keep painting, keep creating, and yeah. So thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and all that. Bye bye.